artificial heart, clicking and insistent, yet cool to the touch. Expats partied until dawn, and by the time they crawled out of bed, the worth of their real estate portfolios had doubled. Sam couldn't help but wonder what would become of all the giddiness if the market ever collapsed beneath the weight of speculation. Suicide and depression, or more revelry? He was betting on some outlandish, oversized combination of the two, with a steep cover charge and a 2-drink minimum. Strange how a city so full of sun and sensation could leave him so cold. But that was Sam all over, the soul of a bohemian caged by the mind of an auditor. He yearned for new experiences but couldn't resist the urge to analyze them as he went along. The sort of fellow, in other words, who, while being lured onto a nude beach by a daring girlfriend, would be calculating how much bottled water and sunblock they would need to last until sunset. He sometimes wondered how it had come to this. As a boy, he had been a neighborhood adventurer, a ringleader of elaborate pranks, even a daredevil. At age 10, to his mother's horror, he single-handed an 8-foot sailing dinghy the length of Lake Leland, a man-made lake, granted, and only 6 miles long, but the closest you could get to the high seas, in the heart of rural Iowa. By the time he graduated with an MBA from the University of Chicago, he had spent his previous 3 summers bicycling the California coast, backpacking the Pyrenees, and vagabonding the coast of Turkey. Nor did he look particularly white-bread, thanks to a Greek grandmother on his mother's side, who lent the bloodline just enough Mediterranean spice to at least let him pretend to feel at home in the world's sultrier latitudes. That, plus an inquisitive gleam of mischief in his liquid brown eyes, left even the soberest observers convinced that he might yet act spontaneously. But alas, he was also the son of an accountant, with bean-counting in his genes. And his employer, pharmaceutical giant Pfluger-Klaxon, had little tolerance for stuff and nonsense, particularly among auditors, who were supposed to keep everyone else in line. Thus had 4 years on the corporate fast track subdued nearly all youthful impulse. Whenever opportunity knocked nowadays, Sam checked first through the peephole. A moist, dark hand squeezed his left forearm. "You want date? Nice happy time?" A second hand, pale as the snows of the Caucasus, took his right arm. Slavic vowels cooed into his ear. "You want maybe 2 of us? Special deal, just for you?" Sam pulled free, smiled politely, and shook his head. "No, thank you." A third woman, Indonesian, Malaysian, slid close on his right, moving sinuously against his hip. "No, thank you. Really." The offers multiplied anyway, and his head-wagging refusals became pleasantly hypnotic. Too many air miles and too little sleep. The music, so irritating moments ago, now seemed to insist that he at least consider a proposal, if only as a pretext for human conversation, a touch of warmth. Perhaps he could take one of the more hopeless cases aside and slip her 20, or would that set off a feeding frenzy? In these waters, hard currency would be like a bucket of chum. Maybe the $9 scotch was getting to him. Watered or not, it was his 5th drink of the night. Only his continuing concern for his wallet tethered him to reality. The tourist guidebooks had warned severely about pickpockets in joints like this, and Sam's job had trained him to never ignore sensible advice. Frankly, he was also beginning to worry about the whereabouts of his traveling companion, Charlie Hatcher. 20 minutes earlier, raffish old Charlie had flashed a lurid grin and vanished down a corridor, hand in hand with a husky-voiced Slav. Charlie was in his 40s, and Sam guessed the woman was too. Up close, she had looked far older than her hairstyle and makeup, although the swaying of her sequined rump had produced the one flash of genuine eroticism Sam had experienced since arriving. He brushed aside yet another arm hold and checked his watch. A real Rolex, to the best of his knowledge. It had now been 27 minutes since Charlie disappeared. Did you really get that much time for your money in a place like this? And where had they gone? The way Charlie explained it in the cab, these women took you to a nearby apartment or upstairs to a room in the dreary old York International Hotel. Charlie's had led him straight down a hallway toward what looked like a bank of offices.